What is the 8 server? Is that Excalibur 8 server thing? That'd be my guess. Okay. No clue they switched to Zap for this game. So your Zap is the Charger player. Where's the cooler? I thought the Zap was the cooler person, alternating with the Try, I'm guessing, right? But alright. Guys, if we're running 8s, you gotta keep the rolls stable. This is like the whole point of the format. Okay, we are like everywhere in the middle. We didn't have cooler most games. Alright. I mean, if the other team doesn't have cooler, that's fine, you know? But if we're doing cooler versus no cooler, I don't think, like, again, with 8 7, that's fine. That's a nice kill. Okay, I like the follow-up on the Reef. It's unfortunate the player you ran into is the Tri-Slosher. I'm curious if I can ever catch you, like, playing for your hammer. Ah, we're still weak. Can't take this fight yet. Gotta heal. Okay. Nice hammer. Wow. Not even a trade. That's some interesting damage output. Okay, I know this is a pre-watch and I shouldn't be pausing, but hold on. Okay. I think we jumped to the Tetra. A lot of Humpback today? Yeah. 2 brushes on Humpback in today's VOD. Okay, we bumped the Try. You keep ending up in the middle of the map. Like, repeatedly. Okay. I know this is early. I'll talk about this in a minute. You always start, like, on the far left or right side of the map, and then every time you're in a fight, you end up in the exact same position in the center. Like, every single time. I'm, like, watching on the side, and you end up in the middle. Side, and then we're back in the middle again. Like, over and over and over and over and over again. I'm, like, a little curious why, like, I'm almost curious what keeps pulling you into the middle. Like, see, we did it again! We're on bottom right side of the map, and now we're in the center of zone again. Okay. Do you know the jumping thing with hammer, by the way? Like, to slow yourself down when you're in rush mode. You jump and you stop moving as much and it changes where your hitbox is. Do we know how to do that? Yeah? I'm guessing you know about that tech, right? I just want to double check. We're in the middle again. Okay, I'll show this off before I get to the coaching VOD. Because there'll be people in chat. I remember exists, I never apply it. Okay. We're gonna start applying it. That will be like lesson number 1. Start applying hammer jumps. They are very, very, very useful. Especially when we're dealing with weapons like sword that will dash you if you don't do it. Also, like, you got like a main of QSJ in your build, but I'm not really seeing you like jump around in the middle of the fight at all. Okay, as soon as I say that, you do. We're staying away from the middle, and look how long we're alive now. Awesome. Nice. Good play. Not into leader! Not into leader! Okay. Okay. Honestly, still a pretty solid play, though. You have, like, a lot of attention on you and your team just walks in, so that's nice. I think we just got, like, a little too antsy for a kill when we're in that angle, instead of just focusing on staying alive. We're gonna be back in the middle. Huh. Okay, I'm kind of noticing something else now. I need to, like... I feel like once you start swinging on someone, I don't see you switch to rolling, like, ever. I don't know if it's just, like, me not noticing something or what. Okay, for those who don't know about Hammer, let's get Hammer real quick. We're gonna show chat this. I know Akira knows this. We're gonna show chat real quick, right? Because we're being educational here. So, when you have Hammer and Rush mode, if you jump, like small jump, you don't have to big jump. This is a big jump. You don't do this, you just do small jump. Slows you down a little bit. You jump, and you get multiple swings in the same location. Now, there's a few different utilities for this. Some of it can be getting the outside hitbox to be more consistent, because you'll see if you short jump. See how I'm able to, like, keep my outside damage radius on a target for longer instead of skipping past them, right? The more important thing that it does, though, is it messes with your movement. So, like, when you are rushing towards the Stamper, like, you can tell because I can just hear the sword. Like, I can see the sword, and they are seeing you at the stamp, and they're just like... And they're just sitting there waiting for your timing window, right? Because when you rush mode, you're, like, obviously going to be going the same speed. That's the other thing that jumping there is useful for, is you mix up your speed that you're attacking the opponent in, so that they can't just do this with good timing and kill you, right? You need, like, some kind of variance on that is going to throw them off so that they can't just easily predict, like, when you're going in and trying to hit you. Okay. Okay, back to the game. So, like, where is that practical? When opponents are above you, when you're trying to use your outside hitbox for more damage, when you're dealing with any Stamper holding a charge slash on you. Okay. Can I... Thank you. Okay, so we just spent time reviewing another brush, and we're talking a lot about, you know, like, one of the main points that I just went over with Chai is we talked about if you're in the open of the map, if you're in the middle, you need to be more stealthy, and if you're playing on the sides, you play less stealthy, okay? This is because pretty much all times, there will be a lot of eyes in the middle of the map, a lot of range in the middle of the map, a lot of damage, a lot of bombs, the objective, whatever, right? So if you're transparent about your position, you will probably get multi-teamed or get, like, spammed or have something happen. If you're on the sides of the map, you take attention away from the middle. That's always very powerful so that your team can have more resources in the center of the map than the other team. Yeah? So, some of my main critiques, right? First off, as Brush, I don't really want you pushing this angle through the middle as often unless you know it's really open. I want you taking far left or far right and pulling attention away. Like, in this case, pulling the leader can be useful. But it's also because, especially when you have a backless comp, like, most of your other teammates are going to be trying to go this direction, and this is too many people in one spot, right? This angle, meanwhile, is completely open, right? Nobody's taking this. And it's an angle behind the opponent that's, like, totally open. This is the kind of spot I need a weapon like yours to be taking. You should always, as much as possible with Brush, be the person on the off angle, not down the middle. Because, as we've seen with a few of these fights, you don't really have the damage to, like, really be, like, the main person allowing a lot of other people to go down. And in this case, you don't have, like, a blaster or a bucket or anyone to supplement your damage to allow you to kill more easily. So this team is just going to shoot you, and you guys are shooting back, and they just do more damage. There's no way to win this fight. The Tri will out DPS you, the Sword will out DPS the Tetra, right? So we can't take these fights in a line looking at each other. You win fights by splitting attention. This is also where I'd say you gotta be more careful about your jump outs, because you walk in, you see the catastrophe from your team, like in terms of dying, you know, everyone goes down. We leave on the bottom left, and you have the attention of this Tri-Slosher right now, right? And you have this angle, and the Sword's starting to look at you, and the Sploosh is over here, and you have like 3 people paying you attention, and then you leave. And the second you leave, the Sword just takes the position you're in, the Sploosh is going around, the Tri is in the middle of the map, and now you're in the middle. You went from having the side angle to now you're in the center surrounded by their team. And so what's going to happen? You're going to either have to take a fight in the middle or you're going to have to leave again, right? So when you're at a corner like this, you should not be jumping out. You have a very valuable position here and you have attention from their team and you have like a definitive angle on them. You can also cover where the Sploosh was going to go, so if they swim here normally, you can fight them, right? You deny the Stamper from this ledge. There's like a billion different things that make this position strong, right? But your goal as Inkbrush is to get attention. This is a very like simplistic weapon. You go, you get attention, you hold attention for as long as possible, and your team cleans the fight, right? Or you clean the fight if you have Hammer, which is why Hammer is so strong on this weapon, right? But in this case, you're just pulling. Keep them off the zone. You have jumps to your splash, you have regroup, and your Tetra's going to push down the middle of the map. So you need to keep people away from the center so that your regroups can follow up. But when you jump away, we give all of that up, and now our regroups don't have anywhere to go. Because this Zap and Tetra, if you're holding the left side, just walk forward, and they pin all of the people that are pushing you right now, and you guys have an amazing fight setup. But because we left this position, now this Sword is going to kick everyone out. Right? Look how much value this Sword just gets here. Right? They go in, they get a kill, they pop Booyah, and just so much forward momentum that just snowballs the entire rest of the fight. This is also why similarly, like, okay, you know, we get in this position, everything's going wrong. You as a brush cannot be going backwards. Right? You can't walk back with the rest of your team and try to stay alive, because first off, you don't, like, have much to play for anyway. You farm a Hammer, right? Hammer is somewhat useful, but it's not a useful defensive tool. Hammer gets value in aggressive positions. It gets value in forward positions or side angles, because you're going to find 1v1s, you're going to get space, something like that. It's like, you have no potential value back here. All you're going to do is pull their team into you. So if you pull away, you can't go back. Go away from your team. Pull away. If you want to help them stay alive, you got to take attention off of them. You got to create threats that will slow them down. That way, even if you die, you want their aggro turned around, right? Because the last thing you want is these guys to take all the way over here. If you're alive behind them, this Sword or Sploosh or Tri or whatever, they might turn around and go back for you while your team regroups. But if you're dead, they're going to take space. Right. The other thing I'd say is once you get angles like this, I need you to just live in them more, right? What I see from this play is that you're really eager to play off the damage of the Reeve Slider, but look how fast you go in for this engage, right? You round the corner here, right? And I want to focus on your camera view a little bit, right? You give yourself, like, basically no time to process what the hell is going on. Like, you see a Reeve Slider, right? You maybe see a tiny ripple of ink from the Tri-Slosher, but now you have no idea what's going on here, right? As you're rounding this corner, you can't see. You don't know where this Tri-Slosher is gone. You don't know if they're up close to you. You don't know if they're far away. You don't know if they're in the trench, right? And it's only once you get, like, around here that you can start reacting to what they're doing. And again, the Tri-Slosher kills you faster. They have more range. They don't need as much time as you do. If you both are head-on assaulting each other, right? If you're both running at each other at the same time, the Tri will have an advantage. They don't have to be as fast as you have to be. They have more of a timing window. They have a more lenient hitbox. They have more lenient damage, right? So you can't take this head on. You need to round the corner and stay, like, wider with your angle. Like, round the corner wide over here and pay attention to what happens and keep the Tri in the corner, right? Because let's say that you don't die and the Tri doesn't die and we still have this Reeve Slider that goes off, right? The space is still denied. The try is still in the corner, and you still have this like angle that your team's going to push in with. You're going to have the Tetra or the Zap or whatever that can follow up with you and take a fight together. But if you're dead, the try can now keep this angle on the side if they want to. Now they don't, they give it up, right? But the try could have just stayed here and gone and tried to fight your splash, and that's usually what you're going to see at higher levels of play. It's like they'll stuff a flank and then they'll take your angle from you, right? They're going to take the space that you were occupying, and they're going to try to like slow your team down by using all of this same sideways angle stuff that we just talked about, and they're going to slow your team down. Now, that didn't happen, right? Because like at lower levels, people back up and they try to play their life instead. But now, your team gets this angle anyway. And this is also something that can happen a lot of the time at lower levels, is mistakes like this might not get punished because the other team doesn't know how to properly punish it. So like in this case, the try just staying in the position they were in when they killed you is how they punish your mistake. But because they didn't do that, your team's going to get away with this, right? So it's harder to learn that this was a mistake. But you got to remember that this is still like a problem that needs to be worked on. Okay. Back to you. Okay. I don't know why you hammer here. So, you have like this main weapon with brush. It sets up all these different side angles. It sets up all these different opportunities. And you notice how you're going to find yourself in a lot of ones, like you did with that tri-slosher where you're both down the alley. When you're in that kind of position, hammer is what gives you the advantage in that engagement. If you had hammer in that fight, you don't have to hold your angle. You can just pop hammer and run in with the hammer and kill someone on a 1v1. What hammer is not supposed to be used for is when you're in open encounters with multiple people here. Because now your hammer is isolated. You're not in a closed off space. You're in the middle of the map. You're surrounded by a lot of other people, so you don't really have a clear target. Now you do fix this very effectively because you get in this corner. You put yourself here, like at this angle, eventually, right? And from here, now this is just a line. Right? Now you walk in, and the only place you can be approached from is in the front of your hammer, and so it's going to do well. And like just throwing it after is totally fine, and now you hold this position. But don't walk away! Don't leave! Don't go back to the middle of the map. Just stay there! You already did so much good work in that spot of the map. Don't give it up. Now you're going to go get it back again. You see how this fight you're taking place in is literally the position you were in 5 seconds ago? Right? This fight is for something you already had. They didn't have to fight someone to get it because you gave it up. They should have to fight you. They shouldn't be able to walk in here for free. They should have to deal with you. Right? That's your weapons advantage take. Go take it. My ear not be... I don't know why my ear is so sensitive today. That is annoying. Right? And it's the same deal here. You go back to try and help with the stamper, but like, you don't need a help with the stamper. It's just a zap painting zone. Your team is fine. You have all the paint control, right? You're giving the chance for the stamper to make a play, and you're also removing any threat over here. It's like if when their team eventually cleans up your team, now there's nothing they need to worry about. There's nothing stopping them from walking into zone, right? I want you to really be noticing like how fast their team's retakes are and how often you're ending up in the middle. You need to be in the way. You need to be between the objective and them, and your goal is to slow down their retakes. You're not securing the fight wins by yourself. Your job is to give your team better regroups. Your Tetra's going to die a lot because they're playing a Tetra, right? But they're going to probably also be trading people out. So give your Tetra more situations where they're going to be able to find fights off the zone, right? The more space you create between your supports and your Tetra, right, your supports and you, the more likely it is that your Tetra's going to jump in and be able to fight before they get camped, right? The more forward space you're going to be occupying. Right, same here. Like, a lot of this game is kind of the same mistake over and over, so I know I'm being very repetitive, but it's like, okay, look, the side angle is very useful. And then we go to the middle, right? Like, I get you have a strike, but you have two supports. You don't need to be the person painting zone. This isn't your job, right? Your job is not to win the fights in this part of the map. You need to take space. You need to take angles. You need to pull attention. That's your job. I think a lot of times here, like, maybe this is coming from, like, trying to fill in for your team or something, but I think you just need to focus on doing your own job. right? Like, take this side angle, deny this brush, deny this leader, pull them away, let your team just walk in from the side of the map. Or if you don't want to pull this angle, then go wide this way, right? Either one is fine. But you don't want to end up back in the middle by zone. Only slider desync. My favorite. Right? Like, this angle is good too, and then it's the same thing. Right? You get this powerful angle, you're pulling the leader away, like, leader's looking at you, Try starts looking at you, Sploosh starts looking at you, you have, like, 3 players turned around, one of them literally died for looking at you, like, the Splash just took out the leader since they turned around, but then you condense in the middle of the map and let them kill you. You have time. Just chill. Go behind them, you can throw a hammer, paint, get some space over here, push with your Tetra, go in with them, right? And, like, to give some leniency here, your Tetra should also be fighting with you, obviously. Like, you're pulling, like, 3 people, and your Tetra's just kind of painting back here for no reason. They should absolutely just be fighting with you, right? Take the 2v2 at a good angle. But it's like, you also have to match their pace. It goes both ways. In this case, I think they're just playing for a reef. Which, okay, I guess. I think it's the fight after this where we get wide right. This is where we do the jump thing that we talked about, right? You jump so that you don't get killed by the sword. There. The hammer. Same thing in the middle. Again, like, your angle is good. Your team's getting lead. Their team is who's, like, desperate to make something happen here. You don't gotta force this, right? Just extend your advantage. Again, extend your angle. Look how clumped your team is right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, all in the corner. Look at this. You spread out and you take the angle. Take the wide angle and just sit there. Like, make them look away from your team. Because you have a lot of, like, very easy to pick supports in the zone. You gotta give them a reason to not look at the supports. Go create a threat that pulls them off the zone and off your team. But if you go down, the threat's gone. They're gonna collapse on your team very quickly. That's exactly what happens. Your Zap, on the other hand, is playing, like, extremely wide angles. This guy is, like, flanked a lot. This hammer is good, right? You see the difference with this hammer where you hammer and you change to where you're targeting an isolated opponent, right? There's no follow-up on the sploosh. You're effectively still taking an angle because your team is fighting this way. So you're still taking an angle when you go here. My only critique after this is, okay, then keep going, right? You just got this kill. Go extend on the left side of the map. Keep taking space over here. You know, like, walk over, you know, around the bend this way. Actually, I guess there's a cooler here. I didn't notice there was a cooler. This is fair. Never mind. And then don't leave! No, 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 no. Like, you have such a good position. You have 2 people looking at you. Don't leave. Just stay here. This is what you're playing for. Getting over here is so tough, but now you're here and you can just roll around and stay by the pillow. And if you're ever in any danger, you can just drop down here and be fine. Why leave? Don't let them go back in. Make them waste time over here. You don't want them going to zone. You have, like, 3 people right here. Like, keep the space. Don't go back. This is good, right? Watch how much of their team is looking at you here. Right? You have so much attention on you. That's good. And then if you jump out there when you're about to die, that's fine, right? That's totally okay. That's really good. You play to pull attention as long as you can, and when you're about to die, you just leave. And that's good value. Like, really good value. Like, again, this is also good pulling, but you're going too far. Like, don't leave the corner. Don't go into the middle of the map to try to throw a hammer at the leader. Okay, first off, if you're retaking, don't target the backline anyway. Like, unless if they're a free kill, they're usually not going to be the threat, right? You need to take out the front lines that will actually scale. But don't, like, look how far away you're stepping from this cover here for this hammer throw. Stay in the corner, because now you have to walk all the way back, and you're going to get shot. Same thing with peeking the sledge. You're just putting yourself in unnecessary danger. Like, I know it's a little scary because of the lead, but you should not be afraid of losing the lead here. That takes a lot of discipline, but, like, just stay in the corner. You're fine. You have, like, all the aggros looking at you. Look how fast your team just walks in on the other side of the map. Just immediately. They just go. Because everyone's looking away from them, so they just take space so quickly. Your Tetra still gets to keep his Reef Slider. Or keep their Reef Slider, excuse me. This double team is very good. Unfortunate damage from the weapon, but like it's fine. And we get lead. Okay. I'm gonna be real, this game doesn't have a lot of different problems. It has like the same 2 problems cropping up over and over and over again, right? And this is like the kind of pattern you gotta look out for. If you literally just look at this game and look at the positions you die, and you just like go on Send to Ink Map Planner, and you write an X, like go to the map planner and draw an X every spot you died in, you will notice a correlation. You will have like 7 or 8 X's that are all roughly in the same location. And that right there is the dead giveaway that like, okay, that position clearly just sucks for me. Like it's not good for my weapon. I think like, generally, I feel you're playing for the kill too much instead of just playing to hold your position. When you get in good positions, I feel like you give them up very easily through either jumping out or going back to the middle of the map. I need you to just focus on how many of the enemy team are looking at me. If they're looking at me, am I in a good position for them to look at? Am I off the objective on the side of the map, whatever, right? And then how long can I keep their attention? Am I getting out when I absolutely had to, or am I leaving the position too early? Those kind of things are all stuff you need to keep in mind. All of this can apply to Dapple. Somewhat, yes. Inkbrush is just more extreme. Dapple will be more flexible because, like, Dapple will shark in for the kill a little bit more, or go for Reef Slider plays or something else. Inkbrush is a very, like... Inkbrush is a very transparent weapon. Its game plan isn't complicated because the main weapon stats are, like, heavily pushed to one extreme. You have no range and you have weak damage, but your mobility is, like, some of the most broken thing in the game. So all you play around is that mobility. And you use it. And that's why Stamp works so well for it, because Stamp allows you to be a kill threat. If you leave the Inkbrush behind, they'll throw a Stamp at your team. If you're in a 1v1 with the Inkbrush, they can pop Stamp and kill you, right? That threat becomes really valuable for increasing the weapon's options once it gets in good positions. Inkbrush's kit doesn't actually help it get into these positions, because most of the time it doesn't need help doing that. It makes those positions more valuable. Which is why if you play, like, especially Inkbrush Nouveau, you have to play to hold and stay in these positions for a lot of the game. Because you don't have a toolkit that plays very well outside of when you do that. Inkbrush's toolkit, like this one, is very good at taking something good and extending it and making it more valuable. But if you're not doing the thing that makes the weapon very worth playing, your kit's not going to do any heavy lifting. It's not going to compensate in any way. Because it's not built to do that. It's purely something that enhances what the weapon is already good at. Okay, Akira, I don't know if you have any questions, but if you do, feel free to list them. I hope this was able to be helpful. My voice is actually dead today. I don't know if I'll be able to do this last game today. I don't know what's up with my voice. No questions, only a lot of notes. Great. Glad to hear it.